I never thought buying my dream home would turn into a nightmare. But that's exactly what happened when I moved into Willow Creek Estates. My name is Tom Reynolds, a retired veteran in my late 50s. And after 20 years in the Army, including tours in Afghanistan that left me with PTSD, I was ready for some peace. I'd saved every penny for this modest ranch-style house in a quiet suburb outside Atlanta. The neighborhood looked perfect: manicured lawns, friendly waves from porches, and that sense of community I'd missed while deployed. But lurking beneath it all was the HOA, the Homeowners Association, run by a board that acted like they owned our souls. It started innocently enough. I pulled up in my old pickup truck on moving day, my service dog, Buddy, a loyal golden retriever, sitting shotgun. Buddy isn't just a pet, he's my lifeline. Trained to sense my anxiety attacks, he nudges me back to reality when the flashbacks hit. The VA prescribed him years ago, and he's got the vest, the certification, everything official. As I unloaded boxes, a woman in a crisp pantsuit approached, clipboard in hand. "Welcome to Willow Creek," she said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "I'm Karen Wilkins, HOA president. Just a friendly reminder, no pets allowed without approval." I explained about Buddy being a service animal, showed her the paperwork. She nodded politely, but her eyes narrowed. "We'll review that at the next board meeting," she said, walking away. I shrugged it off. Bureaucracy, right? But that night, as Buddy curled up at my feet while I unpacked photos of my unit, I felt a twinge of unease. Little did I know, this was the spark that would ignite a firestorm. What would happen when the HOA decided my lifeline wasn't welcome? The first letter arrived 2 weeks later, tucked into my mailbox like a venomous snake. Violation notice, it read in bold red letters. The HOA claimed Buddy violated the no pets clause in the covenants. They demanded I remove him or face daily fines starting at $100. My heart raced as I read it. Buddy wasn't a pet. He was protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act. I called the HOA office immediately, but Karen's voice on the line was cold. "Service animals must be pre-approved, Mr. Reynolds. We've had issues with people claiming their lapdogs are emotional support to skirt rules." I tried to stay calm, explaining the difference between emotional support animals and trained service dogs like Buddy, who perform specific tasks. She interrupted. "Send us more documentation. In the meantime, keep him inside." That evening, as a thunderstorm rolled in, storms always trigger my PTSD. I paced the living room, Buddy pressing against my leg to ground me. The humiliation burned. I'd fought for this country, and now I was being treated like a rule breaker for needing help to function. Neighbors started whispering. Old Mr. Jenkins next door gave me a sympathetic nod, but others avoided eye contact. One evening, a couple from across the street stopped by. "Watch out for Karen," the wife whispered. "She's on a power trip. Last year, she fined the Millers out of their home over a garden gnome." I laughed it off, but inside, doubt crept in. The fines began piling up. 100, then 200. My savings were dwindling from the move. How long could I hold out? And worse, what if they forced Buddy away? The thought alone sent me spiraling. Would I survive without him? As weeks turned into months, the pressure mounted like a vice around my chest. Karen and her board, a trio of self-important retirees, started patrolling the neighborhood more aggressively. I'd catch them driving by slowly, binoculars in hand, noting every time Buddy stepped outside for a walk. One afternoon, while Buddy and I were in the yard, Karen pulled up in her SUV. "That's another violation," she barked, snapping photos. "Dogs must be leashed at all times, service or not. But he's trained off. Leash for my condition," I protested, my voice shaking. She just smirked and drove off. That night, another fine arrived. 500 for unleashed animal. The stress was eating at me. My sleep, already fractured by nightmares of IEDs and lost comrades, worsened. Buddy woke me multiple times, licking my face during panic attacks. I started avoiding the outdoors, isolating myself, which only amplified the loneliness of retirement. Whispers turned to confrontations. At the community pool, a neighbor named Steve cornered me. "Why don't you just get rid of the mutt? You're making the whole neighborhood look bad." His wife nodded eagerly. They were Karen's cronies, I later learned, benefiting from her favoritism like waived fees for their oversized shed. The unfairness gnawed at me. Why target a veteran when others bent rules freely? I confided in Mr. Jenkins over fence chats. "The board's corrupt," he grumbled. "They pocket fine money for community improvements that never happen." But fear kept him silent. As fines hit 2-0, I wondered, how much more could I take before breaking? By fall, the leaves were turning, but my world was darkening. The HOA escalated to liens on my property, legal threats that could force a sale if unpaid. Letters arrived weekly, each more aggressive. Final warning: remove the animal or face eviction proceedings. Eviction? For a service dog? The injustice boiled in my veins. I'd wake up sweating, heart pounding, Buddy's steady presence the only anchor. Emotionally, I was unraveling. Flashbacks intensified. Simple tasks like grocery shopping became ordeals without Buddy's full support. Confined as he was, friends from my old unit called, concerned by my terse texts. "Hang in there, brother," they'd say, but they were states away. Isolation bred despair. Was this the thanks for my service? One rainy evening, Karen knocked on my door, flanked by 2 board members. "We're here to inspect," she announced. Pushing past, they rifled through my den, eyeing Buddy warily. "This dog is a nuisance," one muttered. Humiliation washed over me as they left, citing unsanitary conditions from dog hair. That was my breaking point. Tears stung my eyes as I hugged Buddy, his tail thumping softly. I couldn't let them win. But how? Staring at the stack of fines totaling 5-0, a spark ignited. Maybe it was time to fight back. What if I wasn't alone in this? Could exposing their corruption turn the tide? Desperation fueled my research that night. Huddled over my laptop, Buddy at my feet, I dove into online forums, Reddit threads on HOA horrors, legal advice sites. Stories poured out, veterans winning ADA lawsuits, HOAs dissolved for discrimination. The Fair Housing Act protected service animals, no approvals needed. Why hadn't I known? Energized, I printed articles, highlighted key laws. Next, I reached out discreetly. Mr. Jenkins shared tales of rigged elections, missing funds. "Karen's husband owns the landscaping company they hire kickbacks," he whispered. Others confided too. The single mom fined for her kid's bike, the elderly couple harassed over holiday lights. A pattern emerged. The board targeted vulnerable residents while ignoring their allies' violation. I contacted a pro bono lawyer from the VA network, specializing in disability rights. "This is textbook discrimination," he said over the phone, his voice firm. "We'll build a case." As we met, poring over documents, hope flickered. But the HOA struck again, a court summons for unpaid fines. Panic surged, but my lawyer smiled. This plays into our hands. With evidence mounting, I wondered, could we really dismantle them? Or would retaliation crush us first? Winter brought bitter cold, mirroring the chill in Willow Creek. My lawyer, Mike, became my ally, guiding me through affidavits and depositions. We gathered statements from neighbors willing to speak anonymously at first. "They fined me 1-0 for a faded mailbox," one wrote. Another detailed embezzlement suspicions, HOA dues vanishing into administrative fees. Surveillance became key. I installed a doorbell camera, capturing Karen's drive-bys, her glares at Buddy. Mike filed for injunctions to halt fines, citing ADA violations. The board fought back, hiring a slick attorney who bombarded us with motions. Stress peaked. My PTSD flared. But Buddy's calm helped me push through therapy sessions. Allies emerged. The single mom, Lisa, joined our quiet rebellion, sharing records of selective enforcement. Karen let her friend build an unapproved deck, she revealed. We uncovered financial discrepancies, thousands unaccounted for. At a tense board meeting, I stood, voice steady. "This discrimination ends now." Karen's face reddened. "You're out of order." As boos echoed, I left with a question hanging. How deep did the corruption go? And what explosive revelation awaited? Spring thawed the ground, but tensions boiled over. We filed the lawsuit in federal court. Discrimination under ADA and FHA, plus fraud claims. The complaint detailed everything: harassment, illegal fines, corruption. Media caught wind. A local news story aired, "Veteran battles HOA over service dog." Comments flooded online, siding with me. The board panicked. Karen emailed threats. Drop this or regret it. Mike laughed more evidence. Discovery unearthed damning emails. Board members joking about running out the cripple and his mutt. Financial audits revealed 50 misappropriated trips, personal expenses. Neighbors rallied. A petition circulated, demanding new elections. At depositions, Karen squirmed under questioning. It's not discrimination. It's rules, she insisted. But when confronted with ADA laws, she faltered. My testimony was raw, describing attacks without Buddy, the emotional scars. The judge's sympathetic nod fueled hope. As trial loomed, fines stopped, but whispers of retaliation grew. Would justice prevail? Or would they slip away unscathed? The courtroom hummed with anticipation on trial day. I sat straight-backed, Buddy at my side, allowed as accommodation. Mike presented evidence meticulously. Laws violated, finances doctored, witnesses corroborating bias. Neighbors testified bravely, exposing years of abuse. Karen's defense crumbled. Their lawyer argued, good faith, but emails proved malice. The jury, everyday folks like my audience, looked appalled. In closing, Mike thundered, this isn't about a dog. It's about dignity, rights, and accountability. Deliberation was swift guilty on all counts. Damages, 100-0 to me, plus board dissolution. Karen and cronies faced personal liabilities. Fines refunded community-wide. Outside, reporters swarmed. How do you feel? One asked. Vindicated, I replied, petting Buddy. The HOA collapsed, reformed under fair leadership. Neighbors cheered. Lisa hugged me. But as confetti metaphorically fell, I reflected. The real win was reclaiming peace. What lessons lingered from this battle? In the aftermath, Willow Creek transformed. New board elections brought transparency, dues lowered. Rules revised to comply with laws. I used my settlement for home improvements and PTSD support groups, even starting a veteran advocacy meetup. Buddy roamed freely, a neighborhood hero. The emotional weight lifted gradually. No more nightmares of eviction. Instead, gratitude for resilience. Mr. Jenkins became a close friend, sharing war stories over coffee. Karen, she sold her house quietly, humbled. No grudges, I pitied her small world. This ordeal taught me. Injustice thrives in silence, but voices united can topple tyrants. To anyone facing similar fights, document, seek help, persist. As I watch Buddy chase squirrels in the yard, sun setting golden, I smile. Life's battles shape us, but victory? That's sweet indeed. And remember, sometimes the underdog or underserviced dog wins big.